Yo, what is going on, guys? J.Yumeko here, and today we're finally, after 2 weeks, back with some more of the house in Fata Morgana. Now, last time we left off, we, along with Giselle, who is kind of like the voice in our head, we've gone back to the past, and we're trying to save Morgana from her fate. So, at this point, we have run into the flaxen-haired boy. We've been brought to the church where we have been introduced to, I think her name was like Penelope or something like that, who is the Beast's, she's the girl who was in the Beast story, if that makes sense. But anyways, so she's the nun that runs the church. She has no idea Morgana's up in the tower, locked up there. We confided in the flaxen-haired boy that, like, hey, we're from the future, we know what's going on, and he immediately ratted us out to the Beast and Jacopo, and they killed us. So, you know. So, we went back, or at least we were going to go back, and now choose the path that doesn't lead to us being ratted out and killed. So, yeah. Let's jump right into it. Yippee! Alright, the final door, the beginning. Alright. So here we go. So last time we told him everything, and I did that under the assumption that, oh, well, you know, if we're just straightforward about it, surely everything will work out. But then I remembered, oh wait, no. So tread carefully. We don't have much time, but it's in our best interest to tread carefully. There's too much we don't know yet. It would not be wise to make a rash decision. With him as tense and suspicious as he is right now, it won't be easy to get his key or persuade him to tell us how he ended up here. Furthermore, my experiences with the Three Shades tells me that if I'm not careful, I could be putting myself in unimaginable danger. A brief flash of what might have happened had I spoken too soon crosses my mind, sending a chill down my spine. If I want to get Mel on my side, I'm going to need something more, something decisive, something that'll convince him he needs to come clean and set Morgana free. Regardless, being cautious isn't going to mean much if I can't get them to let us stay in the mansion. We need to be nearby to keep an eye on things, gather information. How to go about that, though? Assuming he's not voluntarily involved, maybe all we have to do is ask for his help in setting Morgana free and he'll work with us. Perhaps. Being so direct will only invite more suspicion, but she's probably on the right track. When I met his shadow, it was burdened with great regret. He begged me to help him. My remark about the saint's blood was based on stories I once heard about a person whose blood was said to have had healing properties. Stories? Maybe they haven't made it out this far. I don't know. But they tell of a girl born in a distant village, a saint and the daughter of God. I thought that perhaps the nun might be the saint spoken of in the stories, and I was hoping for the opportunity to see a miracle performed with my own eyes. I have to say, you looked more angry than excited. I didn't hide it very well, I guess. Maybe it appeared that way to you, but I've never had a very friendly face. If you say so, as long as you're telling the truth. I myself have to wonder, why did my remarks seem to bother you so much? What? Is there something more to this saint's blood than you're telling me? No. Something that would make you want to get me alone and interrogate me? There's nothing. I just, didn't want to scare anyone with all the talk of blood, since there's actually not any in it. And I didn't know about the stories, so... It's just medicine, I swear. As you say. It's got nothing to do with the saint in your stories. To change the subject, could I ask you to convince the nun to allow me to stay here? Huh? Weren't you listening? We can't take anyone in right now. Which is why I'm asking for your recommendation. You live on the premises, don't you? I'm more a supervisor of sorts. Then you should have some sway in the matter. Why? Until the Harvest Festival is all I'm asking. Why not get a room at an inn? If you need money, I'll spare you some coin. I must stay in this mansion. But why? Those are my instructions. What? You know the stained glass window in the chapel, behind the pulpit? I was named after the Archangel Michael depicted there. The angel came to me in a vision, instructing me to watch over the festival here. From where you were standing, you couldn't possibly have seen the window in that much detail. You couldn't... Oh, I get it. You've been to the church before, and you're just acting like you haven't. There's a metal door off to the side, leading to an observation tower. Yeah? You can see the tower from outside? Inside is a long spiral staircase, not made of stone but wood. There's a single door at the top of the stairs. How? What are you really here for? All that vision stuff is a lie. I'm not here to cause you any trouble. In fact, I'm on your side. You show up out of nowhere and expect me to believe your nonsense. All I ask is for you to allow me to stay here until the end of the festival. If you can do that for me, then I'll make you the promise I could not before. I've not forgotten your pleas for salvation. I know you want to be free. Let me guess, you saw that in vision too. If you want to call it that, then you can. I've never once asked for you to save me. You're mad. But, fine. I've got nothing to hide anyway. If I say you're a friend, the saint should be willing to accommodate you. Oh wait, I already told you were my friend, didn't I? I'll try and persuade her. I don't know what your deal is, but try not to cause any trouble, okay? For your own sake. I won't. Only until the festival. You're not getting another day out of me or her. And this isn't your home, so don't act like it is. Of course. Thank you. You know, I never did get your name. It's Michael. Ah, right. After the Archangel Michael. Just like you said. I've never really cared much for Michael, to be honest. He weighs your soul in one hand on his perfectly balanced scales, then delivers its punishments with the sword in his other. He's not an angel of salvation. Out of curiosity, could you perhaps be... No, never mind. It's turned into a bit of a storage area, but there's an open room for you can use. I'll show you the way. I appreciate your courtesy.
Alright. I mean, I feel like that was actually pretty similar to how we went about it in the first, like, by just being straight up with him. Except, I mean, obviously not, but, like, you know, we worked our way around it. Kind of still going with this supernatural route, but less of a purely supernatural, and we're more leaning to the religious aspect of it. With the visions and all that.
Well, this is just lovely. There are cracks in the ceiling and the walls peeling off. There is a bed at least, but it's coated in dust. This was a storage room when I lived here, as I recall. Sorry about the condition. I didn't choose a bad room for you on purpose, I promise. If you want to sleep somewhere more comfortable, you're not going to find that here. Not a problem. I'm grateful to have a room at all. If you say so. Well, I have work to do, so I should be on my way. I'll talk to the saint as promised. I imagine she'll make supper for you at some point. But do keep your crazy talk to yourself around her. I'll make a note of it. Thank you. See you. We made it work, somehow. Somehow. It's a lot of pressure being under that much suspicion, huh? My heart was pounding the whole time. And that the Archangel Michael came to me in a vision stuff. I never expected you to go there. Why'd you tell him that anyway?
Because I didn't think telling him I know the future and I need your help to change it would have gone very well. Besides, those who yearn for redemption have a tendency to latch on to the spiritual. I thought taking advantage of that would work to our benefit.
You know, I bet you make a pretty good con artist, Michael.
I did what I thought was necessary.
I know. Besides, you have every intention of keeping your promise, don't you?
Whether or not Mel can be saved is up to him. I will lend him my hand, though.
Oh, you say it's all in him, but deep down you know you're on his side. We're complete strangers to this Mel, but I can't bring myself to think of him that way. We just met today, but it feels like we're uniting with an old friend. He's like the same old Mel.
And you were actually there, a part of his life, which I imagine makes his sentiment all the stronger.
You don't feel the same way?
I don't think of him as a total stranger, no. However, nothing. I was about to say something incredibly cynical, but I caught myself.
What?
It's nothing. Don't worry about it.
If you say so.
I was always the one with nothing to offer, powerless to be of anyone's help. So if anything's motivating me, it's not the concern for the boy, but a desire to prove that someone like me can do something.
It didn't take much arm twisting to get him to give us a room, so who knows? Maybe he'll come over to our side easier than either of us expect.
Him giving us a room was not simply out of kindness. Keeping me nearby allows him to keep an eye on me. He doesn't trust me, but he also knows enough about me to decide what to... But he also doesn't know enough about me to decide what to do yet. He needs time, and doing this gives him time. If he decides to keeping me around is not to his advantage, he will act accordingly.
Do you really think he'll do anything to hurt you? Mel's a kind boy, and, well, to be frank, I don't think he has the spine for it.
It's hard to say, but even if he doesn't, we still have the other two men to worry about. Nevertheless, his cooperation will undoubtedly be the easiest of the three to gain. We were fortunate to run into him first.
What makes you say that?
Did you ever have a chance to see the shadows trapped in the mansion?
Shadows? I might have. But around the time Hayden Rhodes passed away, I wasn't really there anymore. I stopped thinking, stopped trying to make sense of the things inhabiting the house. I'd become merely another part of the cursed mansion.
I was only able to converse with them after I'd reclaimed myself. I suppose, much like the rules differ between the realms of the living and the dead, so too did they differ for those who've lost their grip on reality. As I was searching for a way to get you out of the tower, I encountered and spoke with the three men's shadows. Of the three, Mel was the least threatening. He bears a great deal of regret. He yearns for someone to save him. I heard him muttering, "This isn't what I wanted." He doesn't want to be involved in this. Someone else is holding the reins. My first guess would be the Lord, but regardless, they're not equals in this endeavor.
If he wants out, then maybe he would have agreed to help if we told him we're here to save Morgana.
Carelessly revealing our hand at this stage did not seem wise. It would have never gotten to this point if it were so easy to stop.
So I guess our first task is to earn Mel's trust.
Morgana's death is in 3 days. We have until then to get all 3 keys.
It won't be easy. I mean, we weren't even present in this world until today.
Exactly. We have no one to vouch for us. No one who even knows who we are. But we have knowledge. Quite a bit of it, in fact. We not only know what happens in this era, but you showed me in their next lives as well. From that we can deduce how they might behave and to whom they have ties.
You're right, we do. We know things we should have no way of knowing. And we can use that knowledge to our advantage. Their various interpersonal relationships are where we can get our edge, I think. They each have their reasons for locking Morgana up, and if I'm right, they're doing it for other people. It's these powerful bonds driving them. Mel's driving force would be his sister, for instance.
Are they mere bonds, or is it fate that ties them together? You're right. We should find and talk to his sister. Mel's more likely to act if it's coming from her than us.
I agree. If his darling sister tells him to stop, he won't have any reason to continue his involvement.
Knowing how the first tale ended makes me slightly uncertain, but for now we can work under the assumption that he does genuinely care for her.
What do you want to bet that she's somewhere nearby? I mean...
She will be. It was her death that sparked the chaos on the day of the Harvest Festival.
Right, it was. No, you're exactly right. But what I was going to say is that people tend to keep those they care about most nearby.
It would appear I have a bad tendency to focus too much on the facts. That was entirely unnecessary of me. Giselle did not need to be reminded of that. I'm sorry.
Huh? What for?
For being careless with my words. Inconsiderate.
No need to apologize for the truth. Besides, you inconsiderate are like oil and water.
And today you're the fire to my oil.
We have 3 days to stop this tragedy. Let's get to work.
Let's. We'll probably have more luck asking than just searching for her. If we can't find Mel, the nun might know.
Off we go.
As I step into the chapel, I see an old man waving to the nun as he heads for the door. The man's practically beaming, and judging by the vial in his hand, he's happy about more than simply having the chance to see her. Is that Saint's blood? According to Morgana's account, a disease began spreading through the city at the Harvest Festival, eventually eradicating the population. In a time like this, where medical knowledge is so limited, a plague would almost be unstoppable. And the sight of so many people dying so quickly could appear to them the work of a demon or a curse.
We come from the future, so we know just how dangerous this is. But they have no idea.
Morgana described it as a tale that could have only taken place in that era of miracles and spirituality, and about that, she couldn't have been more right.
Could we maybe warn everyone against taking the medicine? I assume the sickness was caused by them ingesting blood at any rate. It's not medicine they're being given.
But bottled disease, like some sick joke. If we could convince them to stop taking Saint's blood, then maybe that would prevent the city from being destroyed. But the fact that it's being distributed in the house of the Lord, and peddled as a miracle cure plays right into their deep-rooted spirituality. Would it even be possible to convince them otherwise? And besides, it's not them we came here to save, but... No, that's veering too far off our intended path. We need to find the truth and save Morgana's soul. Putting ourselves out like that is only going to get us unwanted attention, make people suspicious, and we don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry. It's just, knowing what they're doing to themselves, I couldn't help but think that maybe there was something we could do. Especially considering how it all turns out.
I understand the sentiment. Or rather, I understand your reasoning. But for me, Morgana takes priority over any of them. And you over everything. Releasing Morgana's soul should save yours as well, Giselle. If we can eliminate the mansion's darkness, then you won't have to be trapped as the maid. I have no interest in being the hero of the masses. Let's go ask about Mel's sister then.
Okay.
I turn my gaze back to the nun to find her kneeling in one of the pews. She bows her head and begins to whisper a prayer. There's no one else in the chapel. Now is the perfect time to ask. Hearing me approach, she falls silent and turns to face me, wearing her usual disarming smile.
Hello, Michael. Mel was just here. He told me everything. Can't turn away a friend of Mel's now, can we? Sorry for tying you down earlier.
No worries. I did a poor job of explaining myself.
So, did you need something?
Let me guess. Medicine? No, I'm in perfectly good health. I figured you were lying. I can ask her about Saint's blood some other time, and while I have a number of questions about the man she's close with too, right now, Mel's sister is priority. Are you familiar with Mel's younger sister? She has flaxen hair much like him. Oh, you mean Nellie? Are you her friend too? I would say we're more... You're better off just saying you're friends. Friends, yes. What about her? I would like to speak with her, and I was wondering if you know where I could find her. Nellie should be down at the cottage, I believe. The cottage? Yep, that's where I stay too. I don't sleep in the mansion itself. So you don't live here, but only work here? Right. For one, there are men who live here. The Lord likes to show up on occasion too, and we can't have a nun wandering around while he's here. Oh, what is that supposed to mean? So you and Nellie live together then? Yep. We have for about 6 months or so, ever since she and Mel showed up. I wanted to let her stay with her brother, but since this is technically church property, we have to keep the boys and girls separate. I see. I'm so glad to hear Nellie's got a friend though. What? She's not from around here, so she doesn't have many acquaintances. And with how sick she can get, she doesn't spend much time outside. Which is a shame because she's such a sweet little girl. I'm her friend, of course, but I've got responsibilities. I can only be around so often. So I'm sure she'd be delighted to have someone else to talk to. It would be my pleasure. Could you, tell me the way to the cottage then? Oh, sure. It's not that far from here. You go down. The directions I got from the nun lead me to a place I know from my own time. It's the same building where the man who had been ordered to keep me under surveillance stayed. Sunlight seeps relentlessly through the trees, and I find myself having to look down at my feet as I follow the path. It's blindingly bright. Painful. How are you holding up, Michael? I'll be alright. The sun's past its peak. In a few hours it won't be... Excuse me, Jesus. It won't be nearly as bad. Don't push yourself, okay? Okay. The trek is a reminder of just how inconvenient my body always was, and having this chance to experience being alive again comes with both the good parts and the bad. But now is hardly the time to complain about my sensitivity to the sun. It's not long before we reach a clearing, a small cottage surrounded by a small garden coming into view, and crouching by a flower bed picking flowers is the flaxen-haired girl. Are you Nellie? Though several details of her appearance don't match my memory of her, she still has that distinct hair. It could be nobody else. This Nellie is considerably thinner and looks rather frail, the effects of her being ill, I presume. Who are you? My name is Michael. I have a few questions to ask you. Can we talk for a bit? I would have thought she'd have said something by now. You're being way too blunt, Michael. You've gone and scared her. What else am I supposed to say? You have to approach slowly, carefully. Go on, give her a smile. A nice, soft smile. Smile. I'm only here to talk. There's nothing to be afraid of. Okay, that is definitely not a nice smile. I can't even see it and I can still tell. What did you expect? I can't just smile on demand. Eek! It's a bad man. A bad man has come to kidnap me. Save me, dearest Mel, before this bad man does bad things to me. Calm down, please. I'm not going to do anything to you. Eek! Don't get any closer. I know you're trying to do bad things to me. I'm not going to do bad things to you. I couldn't even if I wanted to. That's good. That's a good line right there. I couldn't even if I wanted to. Don't move or I'll call the guards on you. Please, calm down. I mean you no harm, honestly. That's what all bad men say. Giselle, don't just watch. This would be a fantastic time for a little advice. Got it. And maybe she'll calm down if you mention Mal. You're a genius. I'm a friend of Mal's. Ooh. He was telling me about you and how you wanted someone to talk to. He asked me to go keep you company. Mal asked you to come talk to me? He did. Do you trust me now? So that makes you his friend then? As much as it pains me to admit it. Michael! What on earth possessed you to say that? Slip of the tongue. You and him? Is that so? Yes. You're pretty old to be friends with my Mel. Are you really, really, really his friend? Really? Then prove it. How so? If you're really his friend, then you should be able to tell me all about him. Why in God's name would you ever subject me to that? Do you not like Mel, Michael? That's not it. We're just incompatible. Okay, here we go. First question. What does my Mel like most of all?
Well, you. Nellie.
You think so too? You think I'm his favorite thing in the whole wide world? I like to believe that's what he thinks. I think it'd be wonderful if I could always be his number one.
Her excessive love for her brother is still out in full force, I see.
Second question. What kind of person is my Mel?
He's a sycophant. He's a spineless chump. He's a nice guy.
That's right. He's a very nice guy. He can have his head in the clouds sometimes, but other than that, he's perfect. You know your stuff.
To be honest, I was just saying what you wanted to hear. Michael. Me and my big mouth.
Okay, final question. Describe what he looks like for me.
I try not to scrutinize other men. He's decently handsome.
Isn't he? He's like a modern day Adonis.
That might be a bit of a stretch.
Mel could be a prince in a fairy tale. He's got the most perfect face.
May I ask you something? You do realize he's still growing, right? And that can change a man in unimaginable ways. He could end up 2 heads taller, shoulders twice as broad and covered in muscle before you realize what's happening. And body hair. Lots of that. Facial hair is as thick as these woods. Would you still consider Mel your prince if that happened to him?
Mel, with the beard and muscles. I want to have it. That's not my Mel at all.
Ah, she wants to keep Mel a twink. Got it. I see what you're into, Nellie. I see what you're into. You're heading into dangerous waters, Mel.
My Mel will never, ever grow a beard. I'll pray every day to make sure of it. And he won't get all big and muscly either. There's nothing princely about any of that.
I wouldn't mind some muscles myself.
Out of curiosity, did you ever want to be buff like that, Michael?
Well, yes, of course. Every man wants to be strong and well built.
I don't think the beefy look would work on you.
Right.
Well, that's the last of my questions. You're not a complete stranger, it seems. Sure, why not? You can be my Mel's friend.
Why, thank you.
This is great. I was sure you were a bad man.
Why is that the first impression everyone has of me? Why is it that the first impression everyone has of me is never that I'm someone decent?
Any friend of Mel's must be a good person. No, an amazing person.
That's quite the faith you have in him.
Why wouldn't I? He's my big brother.
That's some circular logic.
Is it just you? Is Mel not coming?
He's rather busy at the moment.
Oh,
He always has something to take care of, that Mel. He's hardly given me any attention these past couple of months. But that's okay, because today I've got you to keep me company.
Yes, you do. I can't stay long, though.
Alright, just stay until sundown then. You had something you wanted to ask me, didn't you? Well, if you're a good enough friend, I'll tell you anything you want to know.
And how do I go about that?
Talking. Lots and lots of talking. You have to keep me entertained.
You're asking far too much of me.
She's not asking much at all. She just wants to talk.
Do you think someone who spent 13 years in isolation knows the first thing about holding a pleasant conversation?
Hey now, I was there for a year of that. I'll help you come up with topics, so go on. Do you not want to talk to me?
No, I do. I'm just not much of a conversationalist.
Okay, instead of talking, you can sing. I've never seen a minstrel before, but I've always wanted to know what kinds of songs they sing. Will you show me?
I've never seen one myself, but I have heard secondhand accounts of the songs of traveling jongleurs. Very well then. I'll teach you a song an old acquaintance of mine heard while traveling.
Whee! I can't wait!
Here goes. They do not look impressed. The silence is deafening.
I'm shocked. I don't think I've ever heard someone sing so badly. Me neither. I'm flabbergasted.
Let's hear you try then.
That's enough singing for today. I don't want my ears to fall off.
What a vicious little girl.
I know, let's bake something.
Bake something?
Yep, come on inside. I made some nice jam early today, and I want to make it into a pretty little pie. You get to help me with that.
I'm not much of a...
Come on, let's get a move. You either help or you don't get to be my friend.
As you wish.
This is not going to end well.
You can say that again. I love Nellie's theme music here.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. How on earth do you manage to turn a pie into this monstrosity?
I gave it my best shot.
There's only one explanation. You're possessed. It's true, he is, but I'm a perfectly good chef. Michael's just naturally terrible at it.
God, could this go any worse?
I can't give this to Mel. Jerk, dimwit, loser.
I'm sorry.
Ugh. Well, I guess we got no choice but to eat it ourselves. I'll set the table.
What?
And I'll make us some tea while we're at it. You know, I've always dreamed of this, sitting around the table with a friend, having snacks and just talking.
Oh?
Yep, and for that I can deal with that little awful disgusting pie. It's just too bad I couldn't share it with my Mel too.
I see.
For all her complaining, she does seem to be enjoying herself.
Oh, did I miss something?
I can only imagine how lonely she is out here. While she may act all bright and cheerful, beneath it is a real sense of isolation.
And at the same time, and the same could be said about the girl behind the first door. As vivacious and pushy as she can be, you could see hints of loneliness behind it all. Hold up. Okay.
Her brother was practically all she had while she lived in the mansion. But if I were to guess, it's not the life she really wanted. I bet she would have preferred to be able to go out and play with friends.
Being born into a noble family takes away a lot of your freedom.
Even at such drastically different time periods, she's still the same girl inside. Actually, maybe the parallels extend beyond her as a person, and into the courses of her two different lives.
Perhaps that means all those who were reconstructed at Morgana's wish are destined to lead similar lives. Though destined might be putting it too nicely. Nellie.
Hmm?
I would be glad to lend you my ear if you would like. You can talk about the weather or your brother, anything you want.
You will? Great. Take a seat.
God, just choked.
I've got lots I want to talk about. More than you can possibly imagine. And you'll never guess what they'll say next. That I mean more to him than anyone in the world. So I'm growing flowers out in the garden, right? Well, when I've got enough of them, I'm going to make a big bouquet and give it to Mel. Back at home, we've got this really, really big yard with this huge tree we used to take naps under when it was nice out. So what do you think about the tea I made? The flower petals to it really ties it all together. Oh, and you won't believe what happened after that. Care for another cup of tea? I'll make as much as you can drink.
No, thank you, I'm fine. I feel like all I did was nod and listen, and the bulk of it was about Mel, no less.
I haven't talked that much in ages. Time sure flew by, huh? The sun's starting to set.
Do you and the nun not speak much?
We do, but it's kind of, I don't know, not really the same with her. It just feels, I guess, like she's too important for me to waste her time, being the lady in charge of the church and pretty much the whole estate.
And what about Mel? Does he not visit you very often?
No, he does. He comes to see me a lot.
Then why?
He hasn't been himself lately. My old Mel, who would always happily listen to whatever I had to say, but now he seems kind of distracted. It sounds like he's really busy. When he visits, he doesn't stay for long and he has to go back to the mansion at night. I'll try to get him to stay longer, but it never works. And he always avoids the question when I ask him why he can't. It feels like he's hiding something.
Knowing what he's hiding, I can understand why he wouldn't want to talk about it. He could never tell his precious little sister that he and 2 other men have a girl locked up in a tower, and that he's stealing her blood for her sake.
I wish things could have stayed the way they were before.
The way they were before.
When it was just the 2 of us living together. I know we were more stable here, and I can get the medicine I need from the church. But I'd rather stay being sick than being so alone.
You said you came here around 6 months ago?
Yep, it was just the 2 of us before that. Well, before that, at our old house we had a bunch of servants. But I never really liked it there either. With that many people around, I just felt more alone. I liked it so much better when it was just me and Mel.
Is that really what you want? To be sick and in constant pain?
It's better than being alone. Mel just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand that the loneliness is so much worse. Or maybe that's just a guy thing. They don't get what it's like to be ignored. What it feels like to be left in the dark, not knowing anything.
We don't understand. No. We think saving lives matters above all.
Huh?
Even if there's a cost to saving that life, we're incapable of gauging how great it is. We're unable to see how egotistical, how self-serving our actions are.
Are you talking about yourself?
The same could be said of Mel as well, I imagine.
Mel's still around though. He's there, but it's like he's trying to avoid me. All I want is for him to be here, to be with me. That's all I really want. He doesn't even have to be a perfect fairy tale prince.
Have you ever told him that?
What?
Have you ever told him that he doesn't have to be the perfect brother? That you'd be happy with just having him here?
Have you ever put those feelings into words?
I'm always telling him I want him around.
And that he doesn't have to be your prince to do so.
He's already said he'll be my prince, and he always smiles whenever I talk about it. So how am I supposed to turn around and say that he doesn't have to be my prince anymore?
I know it's not your intention to force an ideal image onto him, but unconsciously, subconsciously, that's what you're doing when you talk like that. And Mel, he's trying to meet those expectations. Actually, he may not be conscious of it himself, and he just believes deep down that that's the kind of person he's supposed to be. Or, more accurately, he seems to have a need to make himself look good to others. He believes that if he's good to others, they'll be good to him in return.
Am I a burden?
I can assure you he's better off with you around.
But I am a burden to him right now, aren't I? Be honest with me.
Yes, you are.
Does Mel not like me anymore? Is that why he's been avoiding me?
I promise you that's not the case. At the very least, he's doing what he's doing now because of how much he cares about you.
You promise?
I promise.
I love him. I love my Mel so very much. Too much, in fact. To be honest, I know I do. I understand that, really. I know it making his life difficult. But Mel's all I have. He's the only person I can latch on to. And I can't control my feelings.
It can be difficult to tame your emotions at your age. There's nothing wrong with that. However, you should have taken stock of those emotions, sorted through everything you've got on your mind, and then sat down with him to talk it out. Even if those things you feel seem wrong or unspeakable. You should have opened up to him, taking the time to figure out what works best for the both of you. You two needed to face the things you carried in your heart, the things your brother carried in his. By not doing so, you end up never quite on the same page. Small misunderstandings piling up until it all comes crashing down. If they had just talked it out, communicated their feelings to one another, maybe their tragedy could have been avoided, even with Morgana's curse in play. If Nellie had only had a chance to come to grips with her feelings for Mel, then maybe things wouldn't have escalated the way they did. Her actions that night were arguably hysteric, but she wasn't always like that. I'm sorry. That was out of line. None of this is any of my business, I know.
No need to apologize. You're a very curious man, you know that?
Huh?
We only met a couple hours ago, but you talk like you've known me my entire life. It's like you can hear everything I'm thinking, see everything in my heart. Did Mel tell you any of that?
No, he did not tell me much.
I didn't think so. He doesn't know me that well. It's not too late, is it? If I talk to him, really tell him how I feel, do you think Mel will listen?
I know he will.
It won't make things worse. It won't make him uncomfortable.
There is a chance that rifts may form at first, but those cracks can be filled again, and I promise you, the result will be something much better than if you had held it in. It would all work out.
Okay, next time I see Mel, I'll tell him he doesn't have to be my prince.
Good.
You really are a curious man. You're the first person to ever talk to me like I'm a real person. Everyone loves to say how sweet and adorable I am, but that's it. I was only ever their make-believe princess.
You are a real person, I assure you.
Thanks. You know, after talking to you, I'm feeling a whole lot better. Like I can do anything. I'm glad you came by today.
And I'm glad I could meet you in person.
It's weird. It really feels like we've known each other our entire lives.
I've known of you for some time. Or perhaps I should say, what you will become.
Huh?
Oh no, ignore me.
Was that supposed to be a pickup line? Bad, Michael. I'm still too young for that.
No, I wasn't.
And now you're getting flustered.
I swear that's not what that was.
I know. Jeez, do you really think I trust you that little?
Sorry.
Oh, I just had the most wonderful idea.
Oh?
Yep. Instead of being my friend, I'll let you be something even better. You're my second brother.
Second brother?
A brother's much more special to me than a friend. Though obviously you can't be my number one.
I'm blanking.
She's taken a liking to you. This is good for us.
I'm not sure how I feel about her putting so much trust in me so quickly, though.
The amount of time it takes isn't important. What matters is that you listen to her, you understand her, and you treated her as a real person. In her eyes, you're someone she can depend on. Do you not want me as your sister?
Actually, I was the youngest child, so having a younger sibling would be,
Would be what? Come on, spit it out.
It would be rather nice.
You bet it would. Who wouldn't want an adorable little sister like me?
That's a bit narcissistic, wouldn't you say?
Well, it's true, isn't it? Go on, tell me I'm adorable, dearest Michael.
Dearest Michael.
What? Well, don't just stare at me. If my Mel were here, he wouldn't bat an eye.
Please don't compare me to him. You know, now might be a good time to tell her about Morgana. Part of me feels like I would be taking advantage of her newly earned trust, but it'll certainly be easy to bring up now while she holds me in such high regard. She's much more likely to believe me.
You're right. I agree, now's probably the best chance we'll get. Especially considering how little time we have.
I can't shake the feeling I'm rushing things, but at this point all I can do is go with it and pray it works out.
If we had the time, I think we'd all like to hold off. Nellie looks like she's having so much fun. And even you seem to be enjoying yourself.
No, I'm just...
It's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm having fun watching you myself. Let's do it. Let's tell her about Morgana. We have to do it at some point anyway.
Yes, let's. Nellie, do you mind if I ask you a question?
What is it, dearest Michael? Ask me anything you want.
Have you heard of something called Saint's Blood?
You mean the medicine?
Yes. Except it's not actually...
I know, yeah. It's actually the Saintess' blood, not medicine. But no telling.
You... what?
One day before we moved here, when it was just me and Mel, the Saintess came to visit. My mind had been all foggy for a long time, like I was not quite asleep, but not quite awake either. But when I heard her soft, pleasant voice, the fog cleared a bit. And then she performed a miracle for me. Blood is awful and gross and terrible, but the Saintess's, hers is different. Hers is pure.
So you're saying you know everything, Nellie? About the observation tower and...
Huh? The tower? What about it?
That's where they keep her.
What? No, the Saintess is always in the chapel. And she stays here with me. She comes back at nights. In fact, she should be here any minute now. So, she thinks the Saintess
is the nun and not Morgana. No, Nellie. That blood comes from...
I'm really, really grateful to her. She didn't just perform the one miracle. She's been taking care of me while I'm here too. So whenever I see her, I always say thank you. I thank her for sharing her blood with me. And she always says it's nothing with a big smile.
Nellie, no. The nun has no idea. She just assumes Nellie's thanking her for giving her the medicine.
I owe the Saintess my life.
No, Nellie. She's not the one you should be grateful to.
Huh?
The girl you owe your life to has been locked up, suffering and alone even as we speak.
But the Sanctus is at the church.
The girl who came to visit you is not the nun everyone calls the Sanctus. Her name is Morgana.
What are you talking about, Michael? The Sanctus is locked up. Stop that. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Everything I'm telling you is the truth. Please believe me. While you were lying in bed sick and barely conscious, did you get a good look at the Sanctus who gave you her blood? You didn't, did you? You couldn't make out any details because your mind was a haze. And then, when you arrived at this estate, you met a woman who people called the Sanctus, giving out medication known as saint's blood, so you assumed she was the one who had cured you. That's the story you chose to believe.
If what you're saying is true, then where's the other Sanctus? The one who came to see me?
At the top of the mansion's observation tower. The door to the tower is locked. She's imprisoned there.
And how do you know this?
Because it wouldn't be wise to tell her from the future just yet. That would only serve to confuse her further. All I need to convince her of right now is that Morgana's being held in the tower. There's an idea. Perhaps I can borrow the story from the white-haired girl told Mel. I received a letter.
A letter?
There's a single window far out of reach in the chamber at the top of the tower. A dove flew in through the window, and so she wrote a letter, tying it to the bird's leg and releasing it in the hopes that someone would set her free. That letter ended up in my hands.
If that's the case, then who locked her up? Was it the Sanctus? The one I know?
No, I don't believe the nun is aware. I think she's simply doing her job in good faith.
Then who? Michael.
I know very well that what I'm about to say will likely crush her, but I can't let that stop me.
Who would do such a terrible thing?
Nellie, I want you to brace yourself for what I'm about to say. There are 3 men participating in Morgana's imprisonment. And one of those 3 is your brother, Mel. I understand that's the last thing you wanted to hear, but please believe me, I would not say something so upsettingly lightly. I wish to save Morgana, the true saint, and I would like your assistance. Without your help, I can't get her out of that tower. I need you to get through to Mel, otherwise both he and Morgana will remain entrapped.
That's not true.
Nellie.
You're lying! You have to be! My Mel would never do something so horrible! You're a terrible liar!
It's true, I swear to you.
You think I'm going to believe that? My Mel! My Mel's an amazing, wonderful person! He's not cruel and evil! He's good and kind, like a prince! And a prince would never lock someone up!
I know you're not blind, Nellie. You can see that all your prince talk has been putting pressure on him.
So? You think that's going to change my mind? He has no reason to do any of that!
But he does, Nellie. He's certainly not happy about it, no, but he's doing it for you.
What do you mean?
He needs her blood to keep you healthy. So, to ensure he always had a supply.
But, no, he...
And despite that, Saint's blood probably doesn't even have healing properties. No one benefits from doing this. Not you, not Mel, and certainly not Morgana. And I don't think anyone can stop him except you.
Mel won't listen to me.
Did you not just say that you would talk things through with him?
Just shut up! Stop talking already! I'm done listening to you!
Nellie.
I'll never believe you! You're not my brother anymore! You're just a horrible, horrible man! Who do you think you are to march in here and try to make my Mel into the bad guy? And after I made you my second brother? What's wrong with you? I trusted you! I ate nasty pie and had tea with you! But you're just a mean, evil man here to turn me against my Mel!
I know you don't want to believe me, but I'm telling you the truth, every word. I beg you to open your eyes. Ask him yourself. If you don't believe me, then ask Mel about Morgana.
I guarantee you he'll panic.
Enough already. Get out of here. Get out this instant.
Nellie.
Don't say my name. Just go away. Get out of here. Now, I don't want to see you ever again. I should have chased you off the moment I saw you. Get out now.
I pray you can find it in yourself to open your eyes and face the truth.
Get out.
One last thing before I go, Nellie. It was my only option, I know that. But I feel like all I accomplished by telling her was bringing her more pain. It's a difficult balance.
We just have to pray that you're able to get through to her. I'm sure she'll come around.
If only we had a little more time. In 3 days it will all be over. Morgana and the entire web of people connected to her will die. It's not enough time. Let's return to the mansion and look for Mel. I would like to speak with him. And there's a chance we can get even the smallest bit of Nellie's feelings through to him. Maybe he'll have a change of heart.
Hopefully.
It's hardly going to be elegant, but it's what must be done.
Alright, we're gonna go ahead and stop it right there. Dang, look at all these saves that we have. Okay, so these are our auto saves. Dang, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. Alrighty. Well, I mean, hey, look, we've come full circle. Right, this most recent save brings us all the way back to the beginning of the game. Damn, holy shit. No way. No way. 2023. What? That was 20. Whoa. No way this series has been going on for that long, right? Wow, really? Okay, if it was 2023, it's been almost 2 years now. We're coming up. We're like what, a year and a half or something at this point? Or not a year and a half. No, yeah, pretty much almost 2 years. Holy crap. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and return to entrance. All right. Well, aside from that shocking revelation as to how long we've been having this series, wow, holy fuck! I didn't realize this series was this long. Anyways, so interesting stuff happening here. So, again, unsurprisingly, due to our time constraint, you know, this is like he said, right? This isn't going to be elegant. It's probably going to get really friggin' messy. And I feel like we're not going to be able to fully get through to all these people. Most specifically, Jacopo. Because we know for a fact that Mel has Nellie. We know for a fact that the Beast has... I forget her name, but, you know, she's the nun. We know that he has the nun. And we also... But the thing is that for Jacopo, we don't know... He doesn't really have anybody significant. Like, he cared a lot for, how do you say? For the white-haired girl, but obviously now we know that, you know, that's not, like, his person. So the only other person we could really think of is gonna be the, blonde-haired maid who tries to assassinate him. That's the only other person that we could really tie into his fate. Now, the only thing is that we have no clue what kind of in this reality, what kind of relationship she has with him, and what kind of role she's going to play, if at all. She might have just been a thing that was purely in Morgana's retelling of that event. She might not have any kind of significance outside of that. But that's the only person I could think of who he would have ties to. But again, I really wouldn't be surprised if we did have to, at some point, resort to force to try and get these keys. Because, you know, we'll see, though. But again, I do feel like Jacopo is easily going to be the hardest person to try and get the key from. Other than that, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say from just like, you know, we got to keep trucking, right? Because, I mean, obviously I imagine, right, this is going to work out with Mel. It seems that before we left Nellie, we had one last thing to say to her, which wasn't shown to us. Which I think that probably would have been whatever kind of convinced Nellie to be like, okay, well, maybe I should, like, you know, hear him out and listen to what he has to say, right? So yeah, at that point, I imagine the next person we try and deal with is gonna be the Beast. So we have to get through to him via the nun. So, which I don't know. I feel like she's probably going to be significantly easier to convince than Nellie is. I feel like the nun's going to be just a lot simpler to try and like convince of what's going on, obviously, because, you know, she's a grown-ass adult. Anyways, that's going to be it for this time. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like on the video. Tell me in the comment section below what you'd like to see me play next. And if you enjoyed this video or any other videos or series on my channel, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you'll be notified when any new one of those videos comes out. Anyways, that's it from me. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.